Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to do a reading for the current energies right now. I feel such a huge shift since this past new moon, especially today. It's like, yeah, I can't really get a feel for what's going on. I think because everything feels really super spacious to me and just like wide open. I know the last reading that I did was a lot about sort of going through that portal through the deep dark, kind of like aspects of ourselves or within ourselves or whatever was coming up. I'm having trouble finding my words because the energy is not that right now. It's like right now everything feels like so clear, like there's just this huge field around this just like completely empty. Like, does it have a bunch of seeds under it that are about to come up and out, or is it like ready to be planted, or is it something completely different that we've never seen before, like maybe not even seeds anymore, or they're just like things just miraculously appear that you've never seen. I don't know, the energy is so different than I've ever experienced it. Like, I've had little mini doses of this where you go through some kind of alchemy and then you're like, oh, I'm brand new, and like, where am I now, but this is like almost like disturbingly new, almost disturbingly clear. So I'm assuming this is a collective energy, at least for some of us that are, I know I always say this, but on the same part of the wave, it's like there's collectives, okay? So like we're experiencing certain things and maybe you've already, anyway, the spiel. But yeah, and I always have a little bit more clarity when I'm reading, if I read for other people, because it just gets me more in a channel. I can get out of the way more. So yeah, I'm feeling into your consciousness in the future that will be listening to this. So we're putting our minds together. I guess this is an intention to really feel into the truth and the highest potential of this energy, so that we can align with it and work with it in a way that's truly cutting edge, so that we can help land and bring forth that which is available. So, okay, I'm going to pull an overall energy, an animal oracle deck. Oh, I haven't gotten this card in any of the readings. Yeah, okay, scarab beetle, which is funny because this always reminds me of a scarab beetle, doesn't it? Just so much. Magic works through you. Okay, so that is the overall energy. Let me see how the tarot wants to talk about this. I love those colors. They're so gorgeous. Okay, Seven of Water. Okay, so here's this sort of like feeling into the infinite possibilities. This card is really coming through for me right now, recently, whenever I see it, as just kind of like daydreaming, like just, it's not even like, because this is coming up in the Aquarius reading, it's not even just like daydreaming where you're just kind of like lost in space, it's like literally feeling into the potentials, feeling into the energy, feeling into that field, like what I was talking about, like what is in that field, what can I find there, what is trying to come through for me, like what is expressing, what energy is popping up, like how can I fine tune my perception to, well, and again, magic works through us, okay? How does magic work through us? We identify it in the field, we identify it in our well, like in sessions, when I do energy work, it's like I can feel when somebody's done enough. Hold on, I have to clear this. That was a notification. I can feel when somebody's done enough clearing that one of their codes has, from their Akash or something like that, has activated in their auric field, and it's like ready to come in and integrate, but it wants like a witness. It wants a witness, and it wants a container to like integrate into the body. But it's the clearing. It's like the clearing work that they've done inside of themselves that allows room, or I don't fully understand it, I just kind of go with it, but I have a feeling that it's also like that they're ready for a next step in their lives, they're ready for a next step, and that's the aspect of themselves that is stepping forward to assist with that, so something like that. So it's like this being like those higher aspects, or even like potentials that are hanging in our field that we've done enough work to like draw towards us, to magnetize towards us, so we're ready to pull them through into our hologram, into our lives, just like with the body work, the energy work. It's like we're pulling through higher aspects of them to come into their embodied state where they have those transmissions, and then they get to attract and create from with that information also in their energy field. I don't know if I'm making sense, but anyway, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that, where it's like there are all these things available to us that weren't necessarily before. Okay, and so in feeling into them and pulling them through, that's kind of how magic works through us. Okay, by tuning in. All right. Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna be really out there today, but that's okay. So yeah, there we go. King of Earth, he keeps coming up because what are we doing? We're anchoring these things down. We're anchoring them down. This has been kind of a theme ever since that Aquarius reading. I think that's when it started. Yeah, that's when it started. Okay. Interesting. So it's like we're feeling into these potentials. We're feeling into what's available, and we're bringing them down onto the earth plane by focusing on them. And like if there's something that we think of that we feel that we want, it's because it's possible. If we can conceive of it and we can feel the energy of it and have excitement about it, then it's possible. So it's like, well, if we want it, it's because it's part of our trajectory, it's part of our timeline. So we can say, no, I don't want that because it's going to require, too much change, or it's kicking up shit for me or whatever. So I'm just going to not want it. But if it's really, really destined for us, it's going to keep calling. It's going to keep blasting us with its energy, where even if we want to ignore it, we're not going to be able to. We're going to keep like kind of tuning back into it. That's how we pull it through. Okay. So, and pull it through. To pull it down, magic works through us. We're planting magic on the earth. All those seeds in that field, okay, we're the ones kind of watering them with our intention and with our focus and with our attention to that which is calling to us. That from the magic that we're pulling through, because these are very different things. It's kind of like what I was saying about that field. It's like what is coming through now is of a different frequency. What's going to be coming into our lives, I'm just channeling now. So I'm like, now I'm acting like, oh, I know everything. Now I'm just channeling. I don't know anything. But it's like, we're accessing things now that weren't possible before. It's kind of like what I was saying about the energy work. It's like now that we've done this clearing, there are aspects of ourselves, there are dormant codes that are activated, there are timelines that have opened up to us that we can pull through. We pull them through by believing in them and by focusing on them. If we negate them with our minds, or we negate them with by kind of like viewing them through a third dimensional perspective. Like you can't view a fourth and fifth dimensional occurrence or situation or opportunity through the lens of a third dimensional mind, through, or even by comparing it to a third dimensional experience. Like once we pop into these higher frequencies, it's like a completely different it's a completely different game. Because I know I always say that, but it's like, sometimes the guidance for a situation when you're in a denser energy is the exact opposite of the guidance in the higher energy. So you might be like, wait a minute, if I would have done this thing that I'm feeling guided to do in this other situation, which is of a lower frequency, that would mean this about me, and you can get tangled up in your mind. But when we're really just like, okay, this is a whole different playing field. We're in this field. It's all open. It has all these seeds, that are like ready to sprout. And I want them to sprout because I planted those seeds a long time ago. Now I'm finally in this field because I've worked my ass off. I'm going to allow these things to come through, and I'm going to view them in consistency with the energy that they embody. I'm not going to view them through a lower energy in my mind, in our minds. Okay, so I feel like that's kind of the task at hand right now, because again, it's like we really, really are in a very, very, very different space, and we need to like let our subconscious know that like honeys, like things are different now. Like it's really, really true. I mean, the scarab beetle, that's a card of rebirth. This is rebirth. Like we've been rebirthed. We're in a completely different terrain. So we need to acknowledge that, like we need to like not bring the past into this new terrain, because we haven't been here before. And if we're gonna land this collectively, those of us that are here to land these, sort of magical, higher frequency situations and opportunities and creations onto the earth to build this heaven on earth, to build a more sustainable. It's not even a big enough. It's that, and it's bigger, right? It's not just about having a more sustainable. It's like literally heaven on earth, the rebirth, where we're rebirthed into these higher energies that are coming in to assist us and to welcome us and to invite us. So it's like we can hang back in the old energy, or we can not only step forward but help to create that reality for others, to help fast track and bring forward that which is available to us, that we only need to tune into and choose. Otherwise, you're just going to keep running the old game. I don't want to do that. I don't think any of us want to do that, but it's like it requires some consciousness and some focus and some decision and some determination, and yet at the same time it's super easy, right? Once we make that decision to be like, okay, I'm viewing 45D through 45D. I'm not bringing any of the old into this anymore. I'm going the whole way in. That's what it is. It's walking the whole way in and knowing that we're safe. Knowing that we're safe and knowing that the garden that we're going to create with this new energy is just going to feed us and build us. And we just got to get going. We just got to get going on it. I'm going to pull another really into the Tarot, the Hidden Realm. These days, it's like usually I'll kind of skip around, but I keep going back to this one. Maybe because it is sort of this like Agarthian kind of like fairy energy. I don't know. I really resonate with that. Okay, so we get the Seven of Swords. We get the, here it is again. This is also the Seven of Cups, that sort of like fantasizing about what you want, tuning into what you want, tuning into those higher potentials, tuning into that which your soul has always been whispering in your ear throughout your entire life. And it's like the time is now. The time, this is the energy, where we've had this rebirth and this is possible. Again, you don't have to do it now, but why not? Why not? Okay, so then this coming up with the Commitment card. This is the Knight of Pentacles, where it's like you're on your path, you're steady on your path. You're not wavering. Again, here's the Seven of Swords. He's the one that wants to be in control in his mind. He wants to kind of like think about like, okay, he doesn't really want to surrender and just like work in those in the magical realm and allow things to, like what I was saying, like popping up in the field, like things that we can't conceive of with our minds. We have to kind of surrender and allow them to show us, allow us to be part of that magic, allow that magic to come through us by getting out of the way. So here's the mind, here's the the part of us that might want to still control and just be like, okay, hold on, I'm gonna do this like new timeline, but I just want to make sure that I feel in control, and so let me just do a little planning, and it's just like, it's totally understandable. I'm gonna bring my shield because it wasn't safe over here. That's bringing the density, the thought forms, the habits of the lower timeline into the higher, and that's, I feel like, what a lot of us that are stepping onto these higher timelines, that are bridging. It's like we're really being asked to be conscious of this, and to choose not to do that anymore. To choose to just give this guy a hug. Let's just give him a hug. Look at him, he's so worried. It's just like, honey, can I take that sword from you? Like, I'm gonna set that down over here, and probably by the time you get up and are ready to go, you're not even gonna remember about it. But I will set it here in case you want to pick it up on your way out. And let's just take off your hat and let's sit on the couch. Let's sit on the couch and pet this cat, and maybe we'll have a nice like chaga drink with some like cinnamon in it or something. How do we soothe them? How do we soothe this part of ourselves? And just give it a hug and be like, you're safe. You're safe. I know you don't feel safe right now, and I know you haven't been safe, in a sense, throughout so many of the choices that you've made and stepping forward. But things are different now. It's a different energy, and all of those trials were just a way to wake you up. Like, you can literally set down the sword and the shield. Like, the battle is over. Come on, let's play. That's why I'm liking this realm, this deck. It's like the fairy realm, the fairy realm, where we're in Agartha, we're in the garden, and we're just building and playing and loving and being. Okay. So I'm going to get an angel card because that's the one I feel like choosing from. Yeah. Oh, I like talking about this. Yeah, joy and serenity. So here we are. It's like this is the new energy. This is the energy that we're invited to be in that joy, to be in that serenity, to know that this is available, to know that this is something we can choose just simply by going towards that which we desire and feel a pull to, right? And just allowing it to unfold without feeling that we have to bring this energy in, and trusting that, you know, we've done this work, we've gone through this rebirth where we can just assume that things are different. We can assume that things are different. We don't have to assume that they're the same because things have changed. So I'm really just talking to all of our subconscious, you know, right now, just giving a different message than the one we've heard throughout all our lives, you know, the one we've heard throughout all our lives and the one we've told ourselves throughout all of our trials, which again, the trials were just to help us get to this point of rebirth, okay, which we're here. I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe because it's been a really long time, you know, but it is here, and we can claim it and step into it. So that's again what I'm wanting to do is just to create a field and an environment and a conversation around that, so our subconscious can hear this this other alternative, and joining in consciousness together to anchor this in, so we can live it more easily. Okay, so joy and serenity, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go into the Light Seers deck. Talked for 16 minutes. Okay. Oh, I love her. This is my favorite Queen of Cups card in this deck, the Light Seers deck. She's so surrendered. She's just, you know, and I always like to point out, it's like, here's this bowl, you know, this bowl's in front of her and it's on the water. Like, we don't know if there's a current to this water, but this bowl could kind of like, you know, she could lose track of it or whatever, but she's not worried about it. She's just completely surrendered. Her eyes are closed, you know, her hands are up. She's tuning into that higher frequency. She has her crown. Is that a crown? Yeah, that's her crown. You know, she doesn't like even have to wear her crown. She just knows it's there. It's just part of her being. It's part of her energetic signature. I'm trying to see what there's. It's kind of dark in here right now, but it doesn't look dark in the camera, but it's kind of dark in here. But yeah, she's just surrendered. She's just trusting. She's surrendered. Okay, so there, we got that. The surrender, the trust. Telling our subconscious that we're safe. Telling our subconscious that it's safe to dream, it's safe to want, it's safe to desire, it's safe to plan, you know, not this kind of planning where you have to be in control, but this sort of like taking action, let's say, like, like taking steps towards that which you desire, moving forward. Yeah, it's not really a planning. It's more, I mean, it is a planning because you're like, okay, well, what do I want to do? I want to do this, so I'm going to do that. You know, it's more of like a play and an action than a planning. Okay, so let's see what else. And then I kind of want to look at these cards. Oh, yeah, okay. I felt like we were like, I was like, okay, we're getting the point. Where are we going now? So then we get the Five of Pentacles. So this is the energy that I feel we're really, really trying to clear. This is the energy of like, I can't have, I've never had. Nothing's ever worked out before. Every time I've ever gotten excited about anything, you know, it either like wasn't what I thought, or it was just another version of some 3D low density thing, or, you know, and it's like, again, those were the trials. Those were the trials and the initiations to get us to awaken. You know, 5 is a number of change. 5 is where the wheel, you know, the wheel turns and things you really do have that, you know, that key to the lock where you get to walk through this door. But for a long time, you haven't been able to. You're like, man, why doesn't that door open for me? You know, it's like it doesn't open, or even if it does open, it's like goes into a room that like I didn't think was gonna be there. You know, so I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna sit here, and I'm kind of not gonna bother. But like at this point in these energies, this kind of attitude or choice is just literally, I mean, it's just going to drain your life force. You're going to get sick. It's like we got to like be on board with these higher energies. We got to like get on this train, because we're not, our physical bodies aren't going to be able to sustain if we don't jump into these higher frequencies, because they're not going to be able, they can't be sustained on the lower energies anymore. The lower energies are just leaving. So it's like, if you want, your body to be healthy, and your mind to be healthy, and to be able to like, move through life and stay in a physical body. I know it sounds kind of drastic, but that's just kind of how it's coming through. And I think it's true. It's like we have to evolve. We have to accept that this is the shift that's happening. We have to get on board, and we have to release this kind of mentality. It's like that, I feel like this is like the ultimate threshold. There are like always windows, maybe this is just another window too. Maybe this is just like my ultimate threshold, or like some of our ultimate thresholds, right? Where we're actually going through the whole way, but it's like we're getting these like sort of like, opportunities, but also we get a little bit closer, we go through a little bit more, we acclimate a little more to the new terrain, and it can be like as gentle and as slow as we want. But I really do feel there's something about right now, and I'm getting chills. And I know a lot of people are talking about September and like this time, and I haven't really been listening to anybody, like I just don't feel like it for some reason, but I have sort of seen snippets of that, and like I want to look into it, I want to hear more about that, but I just don't, I don't, I'm not supposed to, I don't think, or something, but anyway, it feels to me like this is really, really, really a time where, like, look at her, she's kind of puddling, like, I know this is her scarf, but it's almost like she's puddling on the floor, like this type of energy is literally losing its life force. Let's look at it that way. I feel like that's what this card is actually saying. It's like we're going through this door is unlocked for us now, and to stay on the other side is like everything is collapsing, it's losing its life force, it's losing its, it's like literally losing the will to live in the lower realm anymore. It's like I cannot do this anymore. I cannot repeat any of, what is it, like repeat, you have two choices, repeat or evolve, and it's like the repetition is just killing us, it's like you're banging your head on this. My daughter and I we've been watching a lot of like kid movies lately, I think, because it's like memories or like things that we're revisiting. But we were watching A Turtle's Tale, and their flare, there's just a solar activity going on today, but the hammerhead shark they're trapped in the aquarium. They got caught, and they're in the aquarium. So the hammerhead shark is just like banging his head. He's just like banging his head over and over and over again, and eventually they escape. They come up with a plan and they escape. But it's like that. It's like you literally you just can't take it anymore. Like it's driving you to the point of insanity where you have to bust through. It's like that Anais Nin quote, like eventually the risk of remaining in the bud was greater than the risk of flowering, of opening. And so I feel like for a lot of us, that's this point. It's like I'm either gonna die, or I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump into all that is available to me. But again, there is a death and rebirth passage that we go through, and it's not to make light of this, and it's not to be like, oh, come on, let's just do it, because again, I'm just channeling, like I'm over here, like trying to break on through to the other side too. I mean, we all listen to Jim Morrison. We all love that song, I'm sure. There's something that hits something really deep, hit something really deep, and then I feel that this is the time. I feel like this is the time where we're really just being pushed and pushed closer and closer to that edge. But having it be this acclimation process, where really is quite gentle. It can feel pretty fiery and pretty intense, but it's like then it kind of burns off, and we can get another breather and look out the window and get a break from it. But these crunches, they're contractions, they're birth contractions, pushing us through. Every time it comes up, and every time I talk about it, has a little bit of a different energy, because we're a little further on down. We're a little bit further on down through the initiation, through the transformation. Okay, so the next card we get is the Four of Pentacles. So let me see how this wants to present, because there's so many different messages with this card. I feel like today it's coming through with this message of security. I feel like it's really highlighting that like we are safe. We are safe in this new energy. This new energy is established on this planet, to the point where we're not necessarily bridging to it anymore. Like we are within ourselves, we're bridging our, our subconscious to accept it, but we're not really necessarily doing so much heavy lifting and anchoring it on the planet. I mean, look at this. Look at how heavy that thing is. You know, it's like that's been, you know, that's secure, that's solid. I'm talking about this, obviously, right? And you know, it has roots, it has, you know, a system underneath the ground. You know, the ley lines are active. You know, the earth is holding this energy. You know, the monuments, the monoliths, or, you know, everything, all the beings and the earth beings, and, you know, the crystalline network, and everything is kind of holding this structure for us. So that's a good message of, like, you know, you might, yes, you know, yes, this energy is losing its potency, and it's time to get on that new ship, you know. But this one, in contrast, is really solid. You know, if this one's just atrophying, this one is really solid, and it has a building energy, but it's really steady. Yeah, I keep doing this deck. Just keep doing this deck. Okay, so steady energies, safe to step onto. It's going to hold you. It's going to carry you. Yep, and the Six of Pentacles. So this was coming up. This comes up a lot. You know, this comes up a lot because this is a lot of what the energy is right now. It's like what you put out, you're getting back. This is your reward. This is your birthright. It's your birthright. This is what we've known in our souls. What was the card that I was talking about, where it's like we've I can't remember which one I was using, but where it's like we've heard this call. A lot of us have heard it since we were really young. You know, we had it in our dreams, we had it in our play. We just knew there was this other timeline, this other thing that was coming, this other thing that spoke to us, and we didn't know what it was. But, you know, here it is landing. Here it is landing. I remember when I first started sensing, and I remember when it was, I guess it was after 2012. I think it was shortly after 2012, and I had gone through a huge trauma because I lost custody of my kids, and, you know, it just kind of cracked me open. But in the cracking open, it cracked me back open to, like, my spirit connection, so I could see the purpose in it. Actually, I lost custody of them on 12/21/2012, where I was like, really? Okay, all right, this is clearly an initiation for me. But I remember sitting with a new friend of mine who was just like, he had just, like, somehow his, like, ability to read people's Akash, like, opened up, and he would go up to people on the street in this town that I'm in and be like, hey, I have a message for you. So he did that for me, and we became fast friends, you know. But I remember, like, we were sitting all in black. We were just wanted to wear all black because we were just feeling this very serious energy. And but we also in that moment had this, like, real clarity of, like, oh my God, this is real. Like, everything I always knew, everything I always felt, like, it's real, you know, just in the joining together, you know, with this like-minded person. So this kind of being the energy of that, like, this is actually real, and it's happening now. So I've been talking about this for the last couple moons. I think it was the new moon before last, where it's starting to come through the readings where the energy had shifted. You know, for a while it was like, okay, you know, we're clearing up, we're doing some, you know, like, more and we're sort of like alchemies and passages. But then the energy started shifting. Like, I think it was the last Leo reading that I did was this sort of like joy card, like the bursting into yourself, into your true energy. You know, it just kept showing up in all the readings. You know, people were crossing thresholds, or I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like, this is really great. Like, what's going on here? And so it was not this last new moon, but the one before that, where it felt like there's this thing has landed. This thing has actually really landed, and it's so subtle because it's so true that you can kind of miss it. You can kind of, like, not notice that it's here. But I feel like it's really getting louder, you know. So a month later, it's really a lot louder. It's a lot louder. And with the Seven of Cups coming up twice, it's like, you know, it's really speaking to us. Maybe this was the card I was using. Yeah, where it's like, it's gonna, you know, whatever it is that you might be trying to push away, it's just gonna get louder and louder, you know. So here's two of these cards where that which is, like, swirling around you as potentials are just getting louder. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling from the energy. But I'm also really feeling this crunch where it's like, you know, the old ways, the old mindsets. You know, any time that we're in, like, for me, if I start entertaining this kind of, like, old concept, or if I start viewing a situation through the old lens, like, I'll literally start to panic. Like, I'll feel I don't know if it's a panic, but that's what it feels like in my body. Like my energy speaks up so loud where it's just like, no, 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 that's the wrong way. That's not true. You know, this isn't true. Come back over here, where it's like becomes so uncomfortable to like hang in this energy at all, that like my body speaks up, where like I have to shift mindsets, or I literally want to die. Like it's that extreme. Like I'm not allowed in these energies anymore. And I think a lot of people are feeling that, and we might not realize that energy that we're feeling, that kind of like panic, or just extreme uncomfortability, or even like suicidal feelings, where you're just like, I can't be here anymore. I can't, if this is how it is, I'm out. You know, where I don't mean that in a like be concerned about anybody way, but you know, just in a natural way the energy translates, right? It's just kind of honest, you know. It's like that threshold where it's really pushing you. But we might not realize that that's what's going on when we're in these energies. That it's literally our body wisdom and our higher selves speaking to us, saying, you know, like with a big stop sign. It's like, you know, this road is closed. This road is closed now. That's why it's so uncomfortable when we try to hang in these energies, because literally there's no more path there. There's no more path. I feel like that's the point that we're getting to. Okay, so if you are feeling really depressed or really lost or really confused, it's because you're still walking down a path that is that has ended, that is literally collapsing under your feet. And two, I think that's also why we're getting this Seven of Cups energy twice, is, you know, to and this keeps coming up in the reading. This is kind of the new theme that's coming up, to feel into the energy, to feel, yeah, like I was saying with the Aquarius reading, to feel into the energies behind, to feel into the energetic signature, to feel into that which is trying to reach you, that's trying to come through, that's trying to integrate with you, or trying to invite you onto a new path. You know, just whenever this kind of stuff comes up, for these new potentials, new opportunities, new ideas that are coming through, just you know, your body's going to tell you it's not going to feel good. So not feeling good is the opposite of like, ooh, this excites me, you know, or like that's the Two of Wands, that spark of desire, that spark of like soul recognition, you know. So like pay attention to the energy in your body, pay attention to what feels good, and pay attention to what doesn't feel good, and choose from that place of energetic mastery, energetic wisdom, where you're listening to the wisdom of your body, or you're listening to the subtleties in the energy field, and you're allowing that to guide you, because that is the way of the new, and that's what's being asked of us. And when we and it is safe, and it is solid and steady. It's an actual path now, unlike this one which is deteriorating at our feet. Okay, and this new path being one of joy and peace. Okay, and us choosing this and living this is how we anchor it down on the earth and create a new template for other people to more easily step through. Because not everybody's going to be able to do this. You know, some people are just going to like hang in this energy and like, you know, take the edge off with whatever addictions they have, and just get more and more depressed, and like more and more anger and aggression in the world, and more attacking other people. Not, you know, these people that aren't going to get out of this, they need us. They need us to be dedicated and committed to this path and to this mission that we came in to do, to allow ourselves, because we have gone through this rebirth and we are in this new energy. It's like if you're in this new energy and you've gone through these rebirths and you have felt this calling throughout your whole life, it's like it's go time. You know, it's like the world needs you. The world, those people that aren't really here on mission, the people that you're on mission here for, they need you to step into this, surrender, to lean into the behind, to lean into the behind, and to allow it to guide you, to trust its stability, and to trust in your inner knowing, to surrender. She's very intuitive. She just knows stuff, you know, so to trust into your knowing, and to allow it to lead you and guide you, and to live from that, and to allow yourself to experience the joy and serenity that comes from living in that place, even though a lot of the world is still in this, you know. And you might feel like, oh, you know, I need to be like upset, you know, because the world is like really you know, crazy and unhealthy right now. It's like being in your joy and being in your serenity and being in your higher timeline is how we're helping the world, is surrendering to it. Allowing that which you've earned. Like I had a session today, and the man was talking about how he's very high soul. Like it's crazy the energy I feel from him. It's like he's only ever been here at times of great shifts. He just shows up. He showed up for Jesus. He showed up for and but he was saying he always just has like naturally manifested everything that he's needed, and he felt kind of guilty. And it's like, no, you're living in this higher energy. You're living in this higher energy, and the world needs people to do that, because it anchors that frequency. It anchors that frequency onto the earth by people just living it. And so that's the most important thing that we can do for the people that are really suffering, is to live in our joy. And I know a lot of people feel guilty about that. I know a lot of people, that was like part of the hook with like the whole BL, this movement, where then you feel you feel like, never mind, I'm not going to go there. I'm so not going to go there. But anyway, just allowing yourself to receive what is your birthright when you're on mission here, when you're on mission and you've done this work, and knowing that as we live this joy and this peace and this surrender and this higher timeline is how we're changing the trajectory and how we're assisting the earth. So, okay, that's the message that came through today. That was very helpful to me. I hope it was helpful to you. Thank you for listening and for joining me. And I hope you're having a lovely, awesome, wonderful day, and all this spaciousness and newness, and hanging in there through just kind of like I almost feel like a gaping feeling, where I'm just kind of like something needs to fill in. But in the meantime, I'm just being that vessel, right? I'm just kind of being that vessel, and I'm just like staying open, staying surrendered, staying on task, reminding myself that it's all good, and just like tuning in for whenever I feel that guidance. So anyway, okay, much love to you all. Thanks for listening. Bye.